going on, everybody out there all across the land? Of course, you're tuned into the #1 station on the net with the #1 show on the net, Keith Harris Show. And, of course, I'm your host, Keith Harris, and I'm extremely excited right now because, as I said before we went to break, we have, in my eyes, this lady is well respected in the industry. She's done a lot of our favorite projects she's been involved with. She's an icon. So I won't keep you waiting any longer. Without any further ado, I'd like to roll out the red carpet today, this wonderful Friday. We're honored to have with us Suze Lanier Bramlett. Let me go back. Actress and musician Suze Lanier Bramlett. How you doing, Suze?
Oh, fine, Keith. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful. It's Friday. It's a busy day, but it's sunny, so it's good.
Oh, it's a beautiful Friday here in Los Angeles. I don't live too far from Malibu, so it's sunshiny, and let's see, it's 77 degrees outside, so I don't want to be braggadocious or anything.
You know what, too?
I'm just saying.
Look, you may have just offended quite a few people out there right now, Suze.
I know. I'm so sorry. Look, I went to NYU. I lived in New York. I've suffered years of that weather, and sometimes I have this horrible need to gloat.
Hey, you know what? Well, you earned and deserve every bit of that sunshine, so enjoy it. Look. Thank you. First of all, going into this conversation to talk about your career, your successful career, and things that you've done, it's amazing, and and at the same time it's crazy because then we could just sit and just chat about so many different things, for so long. But for the people out there who've been under a rock and probably don't know who you are, or the younger generation of people out there, let me start by bringing up The Hills Have Eyes, which is for all of us out here, is one of our favorite movies. Okay,
thank you.
Listen, no doubt about it. I mean, because I was afraid watching that movie. I got to be totally honest with you. But to start out, how did you get into the industry? Was it an audition that started off for you? What happened?
Well, I didn't start with The Hills Have Eyes. I came to LA primarily doing lots of comedy. Uh-huh. I did some drama on television. I did Barnaby Jones. Barnaby Jones was my second television show in LA, and I had left Texas at a very early age to go to New York to do theater. Mm-hmm. And so I took myself quite seriously as an actress and went to New York first, studied with some of the finest acting teachers in the world.
Right.
And then decided that I was on the road in a play with Pat Paulson, who was signed with ICM, and Pat Paulson was a series regular on Laugh-In, and we were on the road in a national tour doing Last of the Red Hot Lovers. And his agent came from Hollywood and saw me in, I don't know, Kentucky or something, uh-huh. and said, okay, why don't you move to LA and we will represent you. And you've got an agent, and I couldn't pass that offer up, and so I guest starred on Happy Days the first week I was here in LA, and I was Henry Winkler's girlfriend, as well as actually had dated him a couple of times, and then I did Barnaby Jones, and I was doing tons of television, and Wes Craven had seen my work, and he asked me to audition for The Hills Have Eyes, and I did, and I got the part. And I didn't set out to do horror. I set out to do quality theater, actually.
He said quality theater, right?
Yeah, as opposed to, I don't know. I guess I thought television wasn't so cool at the time, and that being on Broadway or being in New York and starring on Broadway was my first So Mama went with the money.
I know. Look, I know that's right. You know what? When you talk, I'm sorry, because I wanted people out there to understand that, you know, and recognize that again. Because Happy Days, look, Happy Days was everybody's favorite, but you know that already, right? You know.
Yeah, and every little girl had a crush on Henry Winkler, and so to play, to actually have to go out with him personally, and then to actually play his girlfriend on the show. I did not have a big part on that episode, but it was just very exciting for me, as well as, you know, people who saw the show, you know, my family, my friends, you know, they're, oh my God, she's on television. And I was thinking the same thing, oh my God, I'm on television, you know.
And we're all thinking the same thing.
and then, you know, to get cast as John Travolta's girlfriend on Welcome Back, Kotter.
Right.
I mean, that was a big coup. You know, I was dancing from the beach on Welcome Back, Kotter. And that was, again, before The Hills Have Eyes. Right. So I had a little fan base and following before I ever got The Hills Have Eyes.
Right, and you know what, and that's why when I brought up that, you know, The Hills Have Eyes, I brought that up for everyone out there, you know, because that can get the generations. That's where the generations kind of meet halfway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, but for everyone who knows, but for everyone who already knows who you are, you have been large on the scene for quite some time now. You know, and how was it? How was it for you playing in Welcome Back, Kotter? You know how
it was the first season. It was the very first season, and John Travolta and nobody was a big star yet, so everybody did not know what the success of that show would be when I was on it. It was brand new, and it just took off like wildfire, and all the sweat hogs, Ron Palillo and John Travolta and Lawrence Hilton Jacobs and Bobby Hedges and Dave himself, everybody were really, really down to earth and very, very nice that first season. I mean, I stayed friends with Bobby and Ron forever, and I still see, they're both passed away, but I still see Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, Larry, you know, pretty often here in LA. We have a lot of the same friends. Right. So we hang out from time to time. So it was family, you know. Right. It was really tight.
Right. And moving, you know, and going even on to now, and then we still have to get into that other venture because you're doing so many different things. Now, also, speaking about Cut. We're going to Cut because now, is Cut already out? Is that finished? Is it in post-production, or talk a little bit about us with that?
No, Cut had a theatrical release 2 weeks ago in Hollywood, and it has been getting rave reviews. It is a huge hit, psychological thriller / horror movie. It's very scary. And I was cast in that, playing myself, Suze Lanier, grown-up horror film director from The Hills Have Eyes.
Wow.
So I play myself, Suze Lanier, at this age now. I was playing 16 when I played Brenda. When I starred in The Hills Have Eyes playing Brenda, I was not 16, but I was playing 16. And so on Cut, which we shot 2 years ago, and it was just released last week, I play my age now, which was just yesterday. I mean, you know, just a couple of years ago. Right. No, I play my age now for in Cut as a mature woman Hollywood film director that directs horror. And Gabrielle Stone, who is really Dee Wallace's daughter in real life, her biological real daughter, plays my ingenue. And Dee, of course, played my sister in The Hills Have Eyes.
Right. Now, how is it to be playing? Listen, you're playing yourself in this. Is it anything different about that? Like how? Let me ask you. Okay, I'm trying to word this question right, because when I imagine you playing yourself, so are you able to just go on set and literally just be yourself, or just natural by nature? Do you still go into character to even be yourself because you're on set?
You know, actually, Keith, I do go into character a bit to be myself, because in real life, I'm not a successful horror film director, even though I just directed my own horror comedy music video of music that I wrote, and it stars myself and Michael Behrman from The Hills Have Eyes and Brooke Lewis. I wrote, directed, and wrote all the music for a music video that's on YouTube presently called Watch What You Ask For. You just might get it. And that was the first thing I've directed in a long time. And so I was playing a real film director in Cut, and I've only directed recently one music video. So, you know, I took on aspects of myself, of me as a successful film director, you know. So there was a bit of creating a character for it. It's certainly not starting from scratch, right? Because I am me.
Right. And I, you know, and what made me ask that question is because I was thinking, you know, people come out with reality shows these days, you know, and you know, no one really knows exactly how much of their selves that they put into it unless they're on set. But that's what made me ask that question, is because I was wondering, you know, does it have any kind of weird aspect? Not weird in a bad way, but does it feel funny to play yourself or anything like that? But that must be amazing.
Well,
go ahead.
The difference is that reality is, they claim, is not scripted. Right. And when I watch it, it doesn't look scripted, but it looks directed, or it looks manipulated by whoever's producing it. Okay, I want you to have a fight here, you know, and then they create this fight, and it's all mostly improvised. But in Cut, I had lines to learn, and I stuck with those lines, except for a tiny little bit of improvisation that the star of Cut, David Banks, who plays the serial killer, and I have in Cut. And we took off and did a little improv. But basically, we both stuck to the script, which is different than reality. Therefore, I was still acting because I had to, you know, remember the lines and know my marks and things like that, you know. So that, anytime you have to remember, you know, you have to remember the lines, and you're going, you know, even if I'm playing myself, I'm still having to use the discipline of technique of acting, you know. Exactly.
You still have to bring that element. Now also, Suze, you're directing music videos too, and you've got a band. Like what? Tell it. Listen, when did
I was married to a very legendary blues musician named D.M.V. Bramlett, and he is known for the group Delaney and Bonnie and Friends. Oh, wow. My late husband produced Eric Clapton's first album. He produced Ike Turner, Joe Cocker, the Staple Singers. He produced everybody. And we were together, not married for 30 years, but we were together for 31 years. And he passed in 2008. So we met after the original Hills Have Eyes was launched in, it premiered in 1977. And I was a wild club girl back then. I was on Sunset Strip, and he was playing in a nightclub the night after he saw The Hills Have Eyes. And he came down off the stage, and he said, "I'm going to marry you." And I went, "You're crazy." And years later, we got married. We got together right away. And So my life took a turn after we met. I please excuse this noise my phone is making.
You're good.
But we got together right after that, and I started working in music with him. I'd had a musical background before I met him, nowhere near what he had already accomplished, and he was very, very well known at that time. And we started writing music and hanging in the studio, which I found to be a lot more fun than being on a set. So I didn't quit acting totally, but I took a large hiatus from it, and I also got very selective about what I wanted to be involved in, and didn't. And I quit pursuing acting for a number of reasons. First of all, the rejection is very hard to take, and you get your hopes up, you know,
right?
And then you know you get it or you don't get it, and then you know I had been cast as the first Chrissy on Three's Company. Well, actually, it was the second one, and they didn't select me. They took Suzanne Summers instead, and that's not why I quit acting. God, you know, if that's all it takes, I shouldn't have started in the first place.
Right.
Because rejection is, I mean, everybody in town, if they're successful, have been rejected for one part or another. You know, that's just part of this career that we call show business, entertainment business, whether it's music or acting. We get rejected. You know, but it's just the music seemed so much more stimulating to me and creative. And I had more creative input, and I was working with somebody I was in love with, and B, he was one of the greatest musicians ever. He taught George Harrison how to play slide guitar. He wrote music with George Harrison and, you know, Eric Clapton and Leon Russell, and you can't, back then, I mean, those are icons.
They were, right, they were icons, and you know, music at that point in time was really, it had a lot of livelihood to it too, and things were going on, so it's easy to see how that would, at some point in time, became more interesting of a lifestyle for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was very, very exciting. I got to hang out with Bob Dylan and Joe Cocker a lot, and Willie Nelson, and people that were really, you know, major. They were like demigods in the day, you know. And I've got to tell you, it was fun.
It had to be, right? And you know,
it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
And you know, so now, and you guys, you're still doing music to this day. Now, where and you've got your video out, like you say. Where can people go to hear some of your music? And what's the name of your band?
Well, it's called it's kind of like just my band, but I have a CD on iTunes called Swamp, like Swampland Cabaret. And it's a combination of a little bit of country, lots of blues, and just a slight touch of theater. And so it's a very eclectic album that I put together and released a year or so ago, sort of about my journey. It starts off, and so I have a stage show called Swamp Cabaret. And I'm from East Texas, and lots of swampland. And so the music is swampy. It's a swampy blues. It's not too poppy blues. And Delaney wrote a lot of swamp blues music too. And but all the songs on my CD basically I wrote, either wrote alone or with collaboration. It's mostly original tunes except Leave Your Hat On and Superstar, which Delaney wrote with Leon Russell.
Oh, okay. And so I'm assuming you're singing as well. Now, was that a surprise?
Yeah.
Was that a surprise for people out there? Because back in the day, I know people knew that you were a singer, but was that a surprise to anyone when you decided to kind of shy away from the acting scene a little bit and go into being a musician?
Yeah, I think that there are people out there that have said to me face to face, "Why did you just throw your acting career away?" And I had a son, and Delaney was pretty wild about my son, and he had a couple of daughters, and we sort of formed like a family at the time, which I found to be a really important aspect of my life.
Of course, right.
And that was lacking until I met him. And he was a family kind of guy. And so it was just so comfortable to be in love, for one thing. I think I know a lot of people who just stuck with acting and they never fell in love and they never had a family and they never had children, and at the end of the day they die alone in some home somewhere.
Right.
And they gave it all for the career.
Right.
And I think I have no regrets about being in love and going down the path I did, because acting does not keep you warm in bed at night.
You know what? You said a mouthful right there, and that's a very important aspect that a lot of people on the outside of the industry looking in don't get to see. A lot of times it's just the cameras flashing, or it's the Hollywood updates. But people have personal lives, and at the end of the day, I have to agree with you. Even somebody like myself, I would definitely want to feel more fulfilled inside than the outside, because one day all of that stuff can be gone at any time, at any minute, and you really want to be grounded, and you want to have just as a person first, you want to have been comfortable with yourself. I commend you on making that move and not even caring what other people would think about it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'd look at TV or a show or something, and I'd go, "Colin, I would love to have gotten my teeth on that role." But doesn't mean I'd have even gotten an opportunity to do it. Now I'm a mature woman, and I'm getting offered some nice mature roles. I always had a vision when I was a young girl, 13, 14, wanting to go into acting. I always felt that maybe I always envisioned myself being the old aunt or the grandmother or something,
right.
On stage or even on film. I mean, that acting, if you keep working at it,
right.
they need old people too.
Yeah.
I know Connie Sawyer, who's 105. She lives at the motion picture home, and she still goes on auditions.
Wow.
And she's 105 years old, and she actually gets back, if she doesn't get it, she goes back to the home and so cusses out the casting people. Because she didn't get it. And now that I'm not married, I am a widow, I'm not looking to, I had that. That was the greatest gift in my life. And I'm not looking to replace it or to move or to do that again.
Right.
So now I can live in the beauty of my memories of that, and put the creative energy into into acting, and it's a little bit like starting over, except that I've got great credits going in.
Look,
and
I was getting ready to actually say too. Look, it's not like you haven't already burnt up the scene anyway. I mean, you've trailblazed. I mean, in my eyes, you're already a legend. You've done well respected work. So it's not like that decision that you made threw you off in any kind of way. I mean, Suze, you're not missing anything. And now that you're back on the scene, and can pursue this again, look, you're already established is what I'm trying to say. So you have every right and reason to feel good about this.
young, you know, it's a lot of now celebrityism. And I was looking at that last night. It came. I've been walking on the red carpets and attending a lot of wonderful events and things. But, you know, they're not just in Hollywood. They're not just in L.A. They're everywhere, in every city. I have never seen so many celebrities in so many different cities in my life. It's almost like everybody is a celebrity right now, you know. And are they really, is the question, you know.
You know what? And I'm glad you said that, and I want everybody out there to hear that, because this is coming from a legend. Are they really? You know, or are they karaoke stars? You know, and I hate to say it like that, but that's a good question. I'm glad you said that.
It's overwhelming how many people walk a red carpet that I've never heard of, and it's not an age thing. I mean, I watch them on TV. They tell you who they are. I still don't know who they are. You know what I mean? It's like they haven't acted. They haven't. They haven't created music. They're not designers. So why are they famous? You know, and why is there a reality show about some of these people besides the networks wanting to save money on talent?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
and I pray one day it starts getting old.
Yeah.
And I predicted a couple of years ago that reality was just a flash in the pan and it wouldn't last.
Right.
But I was wrong. You know, and it seems to just be getting bigger.
Yeah. And you know what? And I couldn't, and that's not to knock anything, but I never could really. You know, I don't mind reality shows, but I honestly have not found any that I've totally watched. And I think because, you know, I'm only 40, but I'm one of those old fashioned thinking kind of guys. And I just kind of feel like, well, if it's reality and it has to do with, you know, like my own life, it's usually something serious that I'm dealing with. It's important. And so, like, where does the element of that really being exposed out to the media come into? You know, I don't find what people find so interesting about just somebody else's personal business, and what happens to the entertainment at that point, because it takes away from the creativity of the entertainment industry in the first place. You know,
totally.
And
the integrity of it, and that's why the networks are so pathetic. You know, I mean. Everything's. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. It's like everything. I try to find something to watch that's entertaining, and I end up watching reruns of Frasier and Sex and the City. Because, you know, it's like there's nothing to watch.
Yeah.
And the reality shows I do watch, they're so choreographed. The fights between the characters are choreographed, teaching young people that are way younger than even you that conflict and fighting is normal.
I can't stand it.
You know?
Oh, yes.
I hate the way people talk to each other.
Yeah.
I grew up in an age where, you know, I mean, people have fights, but we have respect for each other. And we didn't say the things to each other that people say to each other these days.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse. And the violence between people are getting worse because I think a lot of it is because they think it's normal to fight.
Yeah.
A reality.
You know what? And that brings, you know, and I know it's a little bit off of the topic, and some people might not, you know, may be upset with me for saying this, but you know, I love social media. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a way for a lot of people to connect and be in touch. But even with social media nowadays, I think that is something that has became a bit of a downfall. I hate when I'm scrolling through pages and I see people and there's fights and there's negativity or so many different things. And the sad part, you know, the good part is that we can network with each other in a positive way. But the sad part now is that there's so many ways, and this is relative to TV too, but there's so many ways for people, you know, like you just said, to spread negativity now. And that's not a good thing.
It isn't. I love social media that I can stay connected to friends, and I've made a lot of new friends from people that are finding me and remembering me, and that feels great.
Right.
But with that being said, privacy is something of the past.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's anything that's private or sacred anymore. And we go along with it because we're kind of stuck with having to,
deal with it. Right.
Deal with it. We have to have an iPhone. Well, if we have an iPhone, everybody knows where we are. There's no privacy.
I hate that. Look, every day I'm trying to make sure that I did not accidentally cut my location on. That's bad.
I mean, it's none of your business. If I just went to True Value Hardware,
right. I know what you mean on that. Look, can we look forward to you doing any directing on any projects in the future coming up?
Well, my manager's trying to get me directing a couple of things. Now, I'm going to be directing a bunch more music videos. And I talk to my music people, and I have a slew of actors from the horror genre and also comedy actors from the old days that have asked me to be in my music videos. So it's a matter of me disciplining myself to find the time to sit down and sketch it out and shoot it, because over the years too, one of the cool things, I've always loved both sides of the camera. So I'm a photographer as well. So and for years was a professional one. Shot a lot of fashion, and I understand light, and that's really important when you're directing, is to understand your angles and your lighting, and I find that a little bit instinctual. So I really want to get my chops around doing some directing of music videos and real film.
Right.
So it's kind of late to start a directing career at this time, but it's not impossible.
Right. Nah, I don't. And I don't totally think it's too late for you. As a matter of fact, and you're already in the process of doing it. Now, where can people go check out your shows?
Well, first of all, if they want a good laugh, my music video is on YouTube. It's under my name, Suze, Suze Lanier, Lanier Bramlett, Bramlett, on YouTube, and it's called Watch What You Ask For. And you can see my music video with Michael Behrman, myself, and Brooke Lewis. And then I have a CD for sale on iTunes called Swamp Cabaret. There are 15 songs on that album. Most of which I wrote. And I have Cut Out, which is my new movie, and my band actually performs in Cut for a few minutes. And for a little bit. I mean, not a few minutes, maybe a minute. And plus I have done it, of course. And that's available on Amazon, and it will soon be on Netflix and VOD and available on Redbox.
Okay.
And then I have a new movie coming out called Betrothed, where I play Bill Oberst's wife, and another movie with Eric Roberts called No Solicitor. So I have two new movies that are yet to come out, and that's the key. All of that's keeping me pretty busy, and I'm writing one right now and trying to get the funding for another movie, another horror movie, which is fabulous and very exciting. And I think that I hope to be in production this year on that script, and that's called The Witness. But I'm on Facebook, Suze Lanier Bramlett. I'm on Twitter, Suze Lanier Bramlett. I'm on Instagram, Suze Lanier Bramlett, and YouTube, and iTunes.
So you're everywhere, Suze.
I'm everywhere, baby.
Hey, you know what? And speaking of Betrothed too, because and I know by those being projects that you're working on, and also I heard you mentioned Bill Oberst Jr., I believe too.
Yes, I play his wife now.
Right. Oh wow! Big shouts out to Bill too. He was on the show just the other week too. As a matter of fact, great guy. You guys, you two are working together. That's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing that project.
Oh, he is such a fine actor and such a good friend. And you know, I've met some incredible people through the horror genre, and I know, you know, a lot of people think we're weird or whatever, but everybody is so sweet and down to earth. I haven't met one bad egg in the whole genre. So,
right.
You know, all the scream queens, we hang out together. We're friends. We help each other. And if I don't get the part, then I hope one of my friends gets the part. And I think vice versa. You know? Right.
And you know, again, like I said, talking about the other films, because there's Betrothed, there's No Solicitors, like you say, and I wasn't sure, but I caught a whiff for Area 51 too. Might be a possibility.
Well, I shot that. That was the first film I did after Delaney passed, and Oren Kelly asked me to do that movie, and I was thrilled because I just adore him. And I don't know if that's ever going to be released. You know, it should have been released a while back, and it's rumored that it will be released, and then I'll hear that it's not going to be released. So I'm in the dark about that.
Right. Okay. Well, look, Suze, listen, it's been a pleasure. I'm ecstatic. You know, my heart's still really beating fast, you know, to have had you on today. And listen, I want you to come back, if you will. I'd love for you to come back and talk about Betrothed and No Solicitors. We can talk about Cut some more. You know, I want to talk about your music and your band. Listen, also, Suze, if you don't mind, I'd like to connect with you, and any songs that you want to put in rotation, I love to put them in rotation on my show.
Oh my God, I'd be so excited. Thank you.
Yeah, because
I'll mail you my CD key, and then you pick what you like.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. Listen, definitely, because I play a lot of music, so I love to have you. Look, that's great.
I have a funky blues song called Soup Kitchen, because, you know, it's talking about the economy and stuff, you know, and I write about issues that people actually experience, you know, and I think you'll like some of the songs.
Hey.
I have a very big song called On the Way to Woodstock, and it's very bluesy and swampy, so I think you'll like it.
And you know what? And I like it. I can tell. I already like the titles, and the reason I like the titles is because they're original titles. They take you back to original times and original moments for those who know, you know, a bit about these. You know, they're not too today until to the point where people don't know what they mean. And so I look forward to it, Suze. And listen, I also look forward to seeing Cut. Now that I know that's on Amazon, I'm going to check that out, because I'm on Amazon every night looking for something to watch. I've been talking about Cut and hearing reviews for quite some time. No, I don't even remember if anybody told me it was on Amazon.
Yeah, it just became available.
Okay.
And I think it's like for sale or something. I don't know, but I'll get you a copy.
Okay.
You know, just hook up with me, and I'll make sure you have everything you need.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Listen, Suze. Listen, did you make it to the house yet from your drive, or what's the traffic like?
Oh no, honey, I'm sitting in front of Petco. I just rescued a terrier Chihuahua that is the most neurotic dog. I named her Stella Adler. So I'm in the parking lot. I'm in the parking lot at Petco, hanging in the shade.
Look, you hanging in the shade, and somebody else is trying to find out where some heat is.
I know. It's just awful, but and you know, California's here. Everybody can move here if they want.
Hey,
you know.
Look, I'll be out there soon. As a matter of fact, in a few months, I'll be right over there on the West Coast, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, let me take you to lunch. How's that?
Hey, that sounds like a plan. I'll be there. Consider that a date.
Okay.
All
cool.
right.
Cool. I really thank you for having me on your show, because I know it's a hit show, and you know, it's #1 on the net. I mean, just get one for us to pick out.
Thank you for that plug.
Cool. That is cool.
All
Yeah.
right. Listen, Suze, look, it's been an honor to have you on. I thank you again for taking time to talk to us in your busy schedule. We love you. We always have loved you. A lot of youngsters out there. I hope y'all catching up with the scene. Make sure you go check us out. For everybody who knows in our generation, again, Suze is a legend and an icon, and she does wonderful work. I'm going to continue to watch the movies that you're in, past, present, and future. I got your back. And listen, I hope to see you. I hope to hear from you soon, and I hope to see you soon. And look, we'll do lunch, Suze.
Okay, baby. Thank you.
All right, I'll be talking to you soon, Suze. Bye bye.
Okay, bye. Peace.
Peace out. Hey, tell Stella we said hey too. Big shouts out to Stella.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye bye.
She said,
Huh?
Okay.
All right, Suze. Everybody, that was Suze Lanier Bramlett right here on the Keith Harris Show. Wonderful, wonderful lady. We are so glad we got to talk to her today. God bless her heart. She's so sweet. Make sure you show her support. Make sure you know you can check out all her projects and upcoming events right here on the Keith Harris Show. Don't you touch that dial. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the...